Welcome in here, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Murch Church. We are about to start this thing off. Let's rock and roll.
Let's rock.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Murch Church this morning. Appreciate everyone for being in here. Woo! What a couple of days. We're at the new year, though. We're at the end of this thing. 2023 is out the door. 2024 is upon us. I look tired as hell. I was up really late, per the usual. My allergies are also bothering me this morning. That could be part of the problem. But the leg, the knee, yeah, I'm an idiot. I don't know. I was taking a picture of a kitty, and I fucked up my knee, and it's giving me issues. Shout out to Missy Mayhem. Her and her husband gave me a few tips on a brace to get. I've got a brace on my knee that actually has helped a lot with walking. I haven't went to the ER because I know that's going to be expensive as shit, and I think I'm going to wait till Tuesday because either way, what are they going to do? They're going to wrap it up and give you some crutches. So I got the crutches. I've got this now. I'm trying to take time every day. Like yesterday, I took like 2 hours to just kind of prop it up, put ice on it. Trying to stay off of it as much as possible. But Tuesday, I'm going to try to talk to my doctor or talk to the clinic where a doctor is that I go to and see if they can get me in with an actual, specialist to see what's going on. Because hopefully that would be a little less expensive than what it would be to just go straight up to the ER. So that's where I'm at. I've definitely messed something up, though. I don't know what it is, but yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, I was knelt down, completely knelt, and walking while I was knelt, trying to take a picture of a pretty kitty on Christmas Day. And that ended up being a terrible idea. Thank you all so much for being here. Appreciate it. See a lot of new names. Welcome all the new names in here. And Ashley's been here for 3 months. Hold on. First of all, let me get so I can pop you up here, Ashley. Hopefully that worked. 3 months, yeah. Look at that. 3 months, Ashley. Hell yeah. Well, that is awesome.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. And get them beers and the coffees. I know it's early out in the chat. We are on week 5 of the Dr. Jack Kevorkian murder trial. So, yeah, we're going to keep rocking and rolling. See Shannon in here. Chris Dewitt popping through for a minute. Good vibes. Welcome in. Dizzy going to be modding. Sheila, Pokemon. I'm not T-Pain. Again, Ashley, thank you so much. Viv coming through here. Love you, Viv. Make sure you're following Art with Viv on here. She's been putting out a lot of cool content for the holidays. Kathy in here. See the pill and the crutch. I haven't actually popped out the crutches yet. I'm holding off on those for as long as possible. Tuesday, going to work, I'll probably honestly use the crutches. Because the main thing that's hurting me right now is the stairs. Like actually having to do the move. The bending and the pushing off of the last stair. The last step is kind of fucking me up. Dan told me the best way to help knee pain is to hold a frozen 2-gallon milk against it. Damn, Dan's got all the tips. Only Dan's tips with the milk is a little bit crazy, but at the same time, he freezes his milk, and then when that milk unfreezes, he's got extra milk because then there's water in the milk, and now he's just going to separate that out and use it in a really gross way probably. Woo! Hopefully I don't have the flu. That would suck. Oh, my first Murder Church. Julie Martin come through here. Welcome, Julie, and I'm glad you're here. I love that. Thank you so much. Welcome in here. All the new folks coming in here. Love it. Thank y'all so much. Please hit that like as you're coming through. And if you enjoy this, I appreciate it. Share this out. I just shared this on X, on Twitter, on Facebook. First of all, make sure you follow me on those platforms. But yeah, please share this out and let people know that you're hanging out with Publicly Buzzed this morning. Tonight, we are doing something super cool and special. There's the link tree with all the links, everything that you need to get the party started, quite frankly. Jessica for Justice coming through here also. Thank you. I'm not T-Pain. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are doing a marathon, a Twilight Zone marathon, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. Starting at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, be on Kick. First of all, yeah, all new people. First of all, excuse me. Let me get you a Kick link, because this right here is going to get you to the festivities tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time, guys. Make sure that you're on Kick, because we're doing all the way into the new year, all the way into the first. You're doing the countdown with Publicly Buzzed tonight, watching a marathon of the Twilight Zone. And also in the first hour, we're giving away something special. We're giving away a Murder Church van, intact with JBN and Defense Diaries logos as well. This thing is freaking spiffy and amazing. Give me 1 second. Let me just make sure that I can pop this up here. And first of all, I'll tell you what I'm going to pop up. It's going to be the pinned link on my Twitter account. First of all, make sure you're following on Twitter. There that is. But this right here, folks, will get you. Also, leaving a comment after the stream will get you there. Sharing this on Facebook will get you there. But let me show you this. All right, this right here. This tweet that is pinned on my Twitter. A lot of interactions on here. Repost that, and you will be entered into the contest. I also posted yesterday a list of names. Yeah, look at that van. Are you kidding me? Tayo Toys. Also, make sure you're following my boy Phil, who outdoes himself every freaking... Right here. This fella right here. The man making it happen. Phil Foss, Tayo Toys. Make sure you're following him. I'll put his link in there as well. Unbelievable detail and work that he's always putting out here. Holy fucking shit. Tonight, we are giving away the Murder Church van. That's the real van. That's the van that brought some of the practitioners here today. All right. Some of the congregation here came in that van today. We don't show this often, okay? We don't want people finding out where the church is, going through Google Maps and all this. So that's a rare sighting that Phil gave you there. But yeah, please, and you can see he's always doing work. He's the man. This right here, guys, tonight is being given away to one lucky person, only on Kick. So yeah, make sure that you're following on Kick. Did I put that link in there? I think I did. Yeah, on Kick, guys. Make sure you're following us on Kick so you can get a chance to win that van. And again, all you have to do is go and retweet this right now. I did make a list earlier because it is sometimes I don't think they show every single person when I go in here and look at the retweets and the quote tweets. I don't think that this is 64 people. So please go through the list that I sent out earlier. I sent out yesterday, and there's a list of names on there. So please, if you don't see your name on there, let me know. Message me on Twitter. Message me on Facebook. Send me an email, publiclybuzzed@gmail.com, and let me know that you think your name should be on this list, folks. So please, please do that. Here's the list that I sent out, okay? Long list, a lot of people on there, but I want to make sure everybody that has done the deed gets on this list, so please go check it out. Make sure that you're on this list, and I may have a few extras that I need to add after the show as well. So, but yeah, just make sure, because it's going to be fun. I'm excited as hell, and it's going to be a good night going into the new year. 2023 was absolutely insane and unbelievable. Wow. Let me see what is happening in here right now. You guys are being too kind. I can see that already. Sarah coming through, $1.99. Pass the plate and take it easy, Steve. Oh, I'm trying. I am trying to take it easy. Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. Appreciate that. You are absolutely amazing. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Let me see here. Yeah, we're having some fun tonight, guys. And I know everybody it's been following me knows that I love the Twilight Zone. I know I have a lot of other Twilight Zone fans in here. I've talked to Shannon about that also. Hopefully Jay and Shannon will be able to pop in. And I'm going to be doing the van giveaway early. Okay, you don't have to hang out the entire night. It's going to be in the first hour we're doing the giveaway. So 5 memberships just gifted out by Shannon. Holy crap, Shannon. Unbelievably kind. Sarah going to grab one right after donating. That's unbelievable. Aspiring court reporter. Kathy going to grab one of those things. Holy crap. Julia, Terra Nova going to grab one of those things. Mindful Crime Couture, which is Shannon, the beautiful Shannon. Thank you so much. Grabbing one as well. And Angela Rivette grabbing one. Wow. Welcome in here.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Love it. Love it. Pass out the beers in the chat anytime we get new members, folks.
Give it a loop. Give it a loop.
Giving out the beers in the chat. Love to see it. Thank you so much. And right under that, Ashy, we ain't even got to the footage yet. Wow. Starting out early, hot and heavy, passing the plate. Ashy going to do the same. Boom. $4.99. Let's go.
Give it a loop. Give it a loop.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you all so much.
Amber is the color of your energy.
I didn't see Amber in here, but I'm going to give a little love with a different song anyways, just to Ashy. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. You guys are amazing. This is crazy. Wow. Oh my God. 5 more memberships gifted out by Tina. What is going on right now? J Money grabbing one of those. Lori Moore grabbing one of those. Mellow Yellow grabbing one of those. Darlene grabbing one of those. And Joni Deputy. Wow. I accidentally hit the Santa one. Hit the Santa one. Santa's still lurking on the soundboard.
I'm in love with a stripper.
Damn, everybody coming through this morning. Thank y'all so much. I absolutely appreciate the hell out of it, as you know. Unbelievable. Let me go down through here a little bit more. I think I'm missing something else. Oh, my Lord. Yeah, Phil is unbelievable. I'm not T-Pain. He is so cool and so talented, and he wants to help out everybody. He put up a video yesterday. All true crime channels are included in that. He's so kind. He's bringing us all together, and I'm here for that. I'm fucking here for that. And anybody that knows me knows that. Shannon Shaman going to put through $2. Let's go. Happy New Year, Pastor Steve. We love you. I love you, Shannon. I love Jay. You guys know that. You guys are absolutely unbelievable. Jay's new video series has been absolutely blowing up. I watched the new Wendy video yesterday. Hello, Spring. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, this is awesome. Stevie Irwin going to come through here. What's up? What's up? Love you guys. Seriously. Thank y'all so much. This is unbelievable. And now both my accounts are members. That's awesome, Shannon. Thank you so much. Cammy Q still rolling in this morning. We're going to let y'all keep rolling in here for a minute.
Respect my house.
Yeah.
Just chilling.
Just chilling.
Hold up. Hold up. Hold up.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Well, wow, guys. Thank y'all so much. What an absolutely insane morning to start off with here at Murch Church. Steve with the bad knee. That's what they're going to start calling me. Steve with the bad knee. I hope I can get my knee back to where it's okay. Like, I don't know what the hell I did. I admittedly, I have bad hips. I have a bad back. I have a bad shoulder. I have a bad everything because I'm an idiot and I wrestled in high school. I did backyard wrestling. I've always been pretty careless with my body, quite frankly, and I'm going to probably end up paying for it even more deeply than this. But it sucks. And I know that I did it to myself. If I could go back in time, I would not do a lot of those things because they have absolutely caught up with me, I feel like. And it's brutal, man. It is so brutal. One thing I want to pop up real quick. I want to make sure I get this lined up properly. Again, thanks everyone for being here. I appreciate the hell out of it, man. Hope everybody can come and hang out tonight as we're going to do the marathon. I grew up watching, I said Unsolved Mysteries. We need to do an Unsolved Mysteries marathon, but I grew up watching Twilight Zone, guys, every New Year. I think they're still doing it tonight. I'm actually competing with the Sci-Fi Channel, I'm pretty sure. So hopefully you'll come and watch a few with us. Again, I'm not putting a time limit on it. I was saying all night. I'm not going to be here all night. I'm not going to be going all night long. 9 p.m. Eastern time we're going to start, and I'll probably go many hours, though. I mean, plan for a good 6-8 hour trip. 2 in the morning or so is what I'm probably going to be shooting for, but could go a little longer, and then depending on my pain situation and how I'm feeling, could go a little shorter, but we're doing the damn thing regardless. And hopefully I can get my drainage situation under control by then also. But yeah, good vibes. A new name I'm seeing in here. MZ coming through. Welcome. Unsolved Mysteries is my favorite. That's why I'm here, guys. That's why I'm in this niche. Unsolved Mysteries was my freaking jam as a child. As a child. Okay, I'm not talking about as a 20-year-old. I'm talking about as an 8-year-old watching Unsolved Mysteries every fucking night. Hell yeah. Oh, wow, thank you so much. I'm not sure if it's Jay's mom or dad, but coming through here. Grammy or Grandpa, thank you so much. Appreciate that. And we're going to kill this 2024, guys. We're going to go into it swinging. Boom, boom, right hook, left hook, right to the dome. All right, let's get in here. We're never going to get started. I could talk all morning. Y'all know that. Love you guys. Thank y'all so much for being here. Hit the things, do the stuff. Let's go.
Name for the court and jury, please.
A little bit of an update here. Okay. We're looking at Dr. Barry Bielik. This is the ER physician, takes the stand. And as we continue to go through again, the Jack Kevorkian trial, week 5 right now, as we're going to keep rolling on through. I know that Bob Motta said he wanted to be here specifically for when Jack Kevorkian gets on the stand. That may be next week. So Bob will definitely be joining us very soon and shortly again on some Murder Church. So do not fret.
Barry Benjamin Bialik.
And Dr. Bialik, where do you reside?
I reside in Toronto, Ontario.
And do you practice a profession in Toronto?
Yes, I do.
What do you do?
I'm an emergency room physician.
Okay. How long have you practiced emergency room medicine?
For 6 years.
What is the practice of emergency room medicine, Doc?
The emergency room in any hospital is staffed by a physician who runs the emergency room. So essentially, anybody who comes in through the emergency room doors and asks to be seen is treated. So that runs the gamut of everything that a person considers an emergency.
Oh my God. Wow. Dizzy. Thank God I saw that. I didn't hit the bells. Oh, wow. Hold on. Everybody new here, apologize. Got a lot on my brain. And Santa's also very angry about it, as you can tell.
Son of a
And so is Eric Foreman, coming all the way through from that 70s show. One thing that we start Murder Church out every single week with, and I know that Viv is probably a little bit disappointed right now in Pastor Steve, is the bells, the church bells. So let's start this off, first of all, absolutely correctly, with the bells. You kidding me? Welcome, everybody. And again, thank you so freaking much for being here. You kidding me? Gotta start with the bells, bruh. Shit.
When you say the gamut, what do you mean?
Well, most of the time it's people who have minor complaints, whether they're colds or stomach flu or laceration. But about 15% of the time it's life-threatening or limb-threatening diseases.
Is the specialty of emergency medicine directed at treating inclusive those life-threatening and emergency conditions?
Actually, our training is specifically for those life-threatening
So
emergencies.
good to see everybody this
What do you
morning.
mean?
It could be a heart attack, it could be a car accident, it could be a stabbing, it could be a
Thank you
person
guys so much, seriously.
who has a life-threatening pneumonia, it could be a person who's aspirated. It certainly would include a case such as Thomas Hyde's in his terminal stages.
What do you mean? Do patients come in their terminal stages, including neuromuscular diseases, to emergency rooms?
Oftentimes. It depends on the family, it depends on the patient, it depends on what they've decided in these terminal diseases, whether they're going to take care of the patients at home and let them die with dignity at home, or if they decide something has happened, they aren't ready, they can't handle it at home, so they'll come into the emergency room. In a case with neuromuscular disease such as ALS, usually it's because of problems with breathing. The secretions build up, they can't cough them out, they feel that they're drowning, and they're rushed to the hospital so that we can try to do something.
What can you do for them?
Your Honor, I'm going to impose an objection at this point under MRE 403. with regards to the cumulative nature of the testimony.
All right, Mr. Feiger.
The cumulative nature, I don't understand.
Well, there's been testimony from Dr. Casson, testimony also regarding this particular issue from Dr. Klawans yesterday, and for that reason I'm going to make that
I am assuming that this is more limited to what would happen if there was someone came into the emergency and rather than another full display of what the effect of the disease is. Am I correct?
That's very correct. That's entirely correct.
All right.
And again, well,
Go ahead.
You're right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Before we go into what you can do for him, Doctor, where did you get your medical training?
At George Washington University in Washington, D.C.
And when did you complete your medical school training?
Medical school in 1985.
And what did you do post-medical school?
I went into my residency program in family and community medicine at the University of Toronto.
Okay. And what is family and community medicine?
It's essentially being a general practitioner, but it used to be that doctors would get a year of training, general training, go out and set up their shingle. And in 1963, it was recognized that family doctors had to have extra training so that we weren't just trained in pneumonia and heart attacks, but we were trained in sniffles and well baby and other things, little things that would happen to most of us that we'd go to the doctor for. So the training in family medicine trains us to recognize a state of disease, whether it's of the body or of the emotions or of the mind, and treat it.
And when did you complete your residency, Doctor?
I completed my residency in June of 1988.
Okay. Is the practice of family or emergency medicine any different in Canada, where you work, rather than in the United States, where you did your medical training?
Not at all.
Are you a United States or Canadian resident?
I'm a resident in Canada, but a U.S. citizen.
What is your professional background after? Did you finish your residency in family practice?
Yes, I did.
Are you board certified?
I'm board certified in family medicine.
Okay. What is your professional experience after completion of is it a 4-year residency?
It's a 3-year residency.
After completion of your residency and your board certification?
My professional experience?
Yes.
I finished my residency in '88 and began practicing emergency medicine, solely emergency medicine.
Why did you go into ER medicine rather than family?
Holy shit, Groot going to come through here right quick with a $9.99. Happy early New Year, Steve and Dan. Thank you so much, Groot. Appreciate that. Groot has been absolutely amazing as well here this year. God, it's crazy. We're coming up on a year right now. Basically a year of full streams, actually. Yesterday, the 30th, was the day that Brian Koberger was arrested 1 year ago. Okay. That was one exact year that I started really hammering in live streams on this channel. Before that, there was some live streams before that, it was another niche that we were fucking around with. There were some live streams. But when we fully got into true crime, okay, the summer of 2022 is when we started dabbling. November of 2022 is when we got fully in. And the first case we ever got into was the Idaho 4 Brian Koberger case. And then once that arrest happened on December 30th of 2022, that was when I said, I've got to start going live. These motherfuckers going live are getting all these crazy numbers. Let's see what we can do. And the shit has been rolling ever since, guys. And we've ended up with something completely different, something out of this world that I could never even imagine. All the awesome people that we've met along the way. It's been insane. What an insane freaking journey, Groot. And you've been here for the majority of it. Thank you so, so much. I love that. Also, Groot, showing exactly what I was just saying. A member for 6 freaking months. Are you kidding me? Wow.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Love it. Love that.
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
So good.
Family practice.
Well, there were
Right
two
here.
reasons.
Found us when we interviewed Carrie Ross and Julia. Thank you so much. All the fine folks that have worked with us this year. Unbelievable. I cannot believe where we are, guys.
One of them is
Because of you.
emergency medicine is where we can really do something. That's where our medicine, the way we practice it in North America, can fix something. So somebody comes in, I can do something. And besides that kind of reward, it's satisfying. The other is for my lifestyle. I do volunteer work.
Could
I was
use
in
it.
Peace Corps back in the 1970s. And for my volunteer work, I continued to do that about 6 weeks a year. I couldn't set up a practice and leave for 6 weeks because then I'd be leaving my patients.
Where have you practiced emergency medicine, doctor?
I practice in Ontario, mostly. There's a rural hospital in Campbellford, a town hospital in Woodstock, and I'm also on staff at Toronto General Hospital, which is the University of Toronto's flagship hospital. In addition, rarely I practice in South Dakota.
Okay. And in the ER?
In the ER.
How long have you continuously practiced emergency room medicine?
Since 1988.
Okay. What type of emergency room does Toronto General, perhaps, or Toronto Hospital maintain?
Toronto Hospital, as the flagship of the University of Toronto, has 1,500 beds. We have every subspecialty. If you look at the University of Michigan and their university hospital system, Toronto Hospital is on a par with that.
Doctor, by the way, upon graduation from medical school, did you take something called the Hippocratic Oath?
Yes, we all did.
Was the Hippocratic Oath written by Hippocrates, the so-called father of modern medicine?
Actually, it wasn't.
Who was it written by?
I enjoy history, studying about medicine. There's a group of, it was a religious, mythical group called the Pythagoreans. They developed the Pythagorean theorem as well, and they came up with it.
Morning, Brooklyn. Welcome in.
Doctor, assuming the Hippocratic Oath begins, I pledge allegiance to all the gods and goddesses, Hygeia, Apollo, Asclepius, Panacea. When you take the oath and pledge allegiance to those gods and goddesses, are you being truthful when you do that in medical school?
I don't accept the Greek gods. We graduate from medical school. We're excited about graduating from medical school. We hear about the Hippocratic Oath. We repeat what they tell us. No, I don't follow the Greek gods.
Is there a clause in the Hippocratic Oath which prohibits or makes unethical abortion?
I'm going to object as to relevancy, Judge.
Well, he continues to bring in medical practice in his cross-examination, and to the degree that medical practice defends its position based upon an oath which is not followed, I think I'm entitled to at least ask these questions. If the court would permit, I'm only going to ask one more question.
Mr. Feiger, I don't know what the relevancy is of this doctor's, feelings, about this oath or anything like that in the context of this case, either on the 401 or 403. So I want us to sustain the objection on that. If you have something more direct, then you may proceed. Go ahead, please.
Doctor, do you have experience treating patients suffering from life-threatening conditions such as end-stage ALS?
Yes, I do.
What types of neuromuscular diseases other than
Morning,
ALS
Joe.
have you also seen?
Yeah, where else is Joe Jackalone going to walk in the chat and hang out for a bit? Are you kidding me, man? All the cool people we've met this year has been unbelievable. Joe's been on here multiple times this year. One of the coolest guys that we've met. Absolutely unbelievable human being to take the time to talk to some schmoes from West Virginia, okay, that are trying to jump into the true crime genre, okay, into this industry. And Joe Jackalone has been freaking awesome, man. He's blowing the hell up also, and he's going to be taking this game over along with guys like Bob Motta from Defense Diaries. So make sure that you're following Joe Jackalone also, man. He's unbelievable. And he's unbelievably kind, and the knowledge that he drops in his shows is, quite frankly, unmeasurable on the interwebs, I really truly think, and especially for the law enforcement side of it. He's awesome, man. And absolutely, Shannon, like, it's a big love fest today, and we're ending the year, and it's, it's awesome, but it's cool, man. Like, all the cool people that we've come across and met this year, and Viv, I mean, it's unbelievable. But not even just the creators, the people in here that are just hanging out every single week, the people in here that are hungry for knowledge, the people that are in here that get into these cases just like the rest of us, right? We're the ones that are presenting these cases, but you guys are the ones that are fueling the fight for these cases and to figure out what exactly is going on, and it's endless and it's crazy and it's unbelievably inspiring is what it is. It's crazy, guys. City Kitty, good morning.
That might be similar to ALS.
Well, there's multiple sclerosis, there's poliomyelitis, in terms of motor neuron, meaning the ability to move. People who are quadriplegic, having had motorcycle accidents, swimming accidents.
What can be done for these patients? What type of symptomatology, strike the first question, what type of symptomatology, symptoms or problems do these patients come in to the emergency room and have you render treatment for them?
Well, it depends on the disease. I do have some experience with patients with ALS, and it's probably more relevant if I talk about that.
Fine.
These are people who have perfectly normal thinking. It doesn't affect their ability to think. So they're conscious, they're aware of everything that's going on. And they are unable to use their muscles well. And as the disease progresses, they're less and less able. Ultimately, what most of them have is problems with breathing. Their respiratory muscles don't function well. They also can't cough up the secretions that come down, so they tend to what we call aspirate. They
of course, trigger warning all over this trial, guys.
The mucus, food, if they're
a lot
eating.
of moments
of the time,
that'll get you.
What I see them for in the emergency room is.
Mr. Feiger, I think that the objection made earlier by the prosecution become more cogent, because I anticipated something different from what we've heard for the last, three or four doctors about this. So I would ask you to maybe get more directly involved with that, please.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you do? What can you, when patients come in an emergency room in these life-threatening conditions, what do you see in terms of pain and suffering?
I see a person suffocating. I see a person drowning. What I can do, there's very little that I can do to alleviate their suffering except to lavage, which means to suction. When they reach end stage, there's absolutely nothing I can do to relieve their suffering.
What do you mean there's nothing you can do?
Well, if they're not breathing on their own, I can put a tube into their trachea so that I can breathe for them, or the machine can breathe for them, but that's not relieving their suffering. That's just prolonging it.
Assuming that the doctors treating Thomas Hyde the next week, had he not passed away, would have inserted tubes to help him eat. Do you do that sort of thing?
I arrange for that.
Why is that done?
If a person can't control the food that goes down, if he can't control that it's going down his windpipe or his food tube, then he'll die. So if you can't control that, then the next thing to do is put a tube in the stomach and feed him by a tube.
When you say there's nothing...
Those are all really terrible, hard decisions to make by family members. I get that, but, that's such a rough ending for the individual who probably at that point in time can't even really communicate really well, right? They're a brain that's trapped inside of this body. They're trapped. That's the craziest way to think about it, that their brain function, okay, they're conscious, still laying there in a body that they have no control over anymore. It's gone. All the functionality, any decent day-to-day living is gone. But still, if you have family members that don't want to let them go, or maybe, they've decided beforehand, I want this to go as long as we can, you get to this point where, they can put tubes in you to help you breathe, to help you eat. I mean, personally, I do not want to get to that point. I don't know. I mean, I know everybody's completely different, and that would be extremely difficult on family members. But since the main thing that we've been talking about during this trial has been the disease, ALS, which is absolutely the most debilitating, scariest thing that I've seen in such a long time. Digging a little bit deeper into that side of the disease, which there's basically no cure for. They have had very little, any kind of progress at all, from what I can tell over the years. Since this is 1994, still to this day, very little. They still do regular testing on multiple different drugs, on things that could maybe help the patient who becomes basically incapable of moving at all. It's one of the scariest things that I've seen, quite frankly, and it freaks me out even thinking about it. But to put this man, again, circle back around here, Dr. Jack Kevorkian on trial for something that is on camera that Thomas Hyde, his family, Thomas Hyde himself wanted to happen, wanted to be let go from this existence, from this world, because of this incredibly horrible disease that had taken over his body. It's hard. It's hard to convince a jury to say that this man right here murdered him when everything we've already seen. Just the video alone that we saw with Thomas next to his wife. No one wants to die. No one wants to leave this world in that fashion, but also suffering and the terror that you would literally have in your brain at all times, thinking about choking, thinking about this could be it. The actual terror of that event happening, of the choking event, okay? Outside of the actual disease that you're living with. It's almost unimaginable. Like, it's horrible to think about.
That you can do to alleviate his suffering. Aren't there any procedures or drugs that you can provide that would make the patient unconscious?
Well, there are.
Do you do that?
If the patient is fighting my putting a tube into his trachea, then I'll paralyze him. But there's no medication that I can give him in the emergency room that will stop his suffering.
It's been mentioned. Do you have experience with carbon monoxide?
Yes, I do.
What experience do you have with carbon monoxide?
I mentioned that the University of Toronto's hospital, the Toronto Hospital, has every specialty. We also have what we call hyperbaric oxygen therapy. When people from around the province of Ontario are exposed to carbon monoxide, have poisoning from carbon monoxide.
Yeah, I've seen this in my actual life with family members, and it's horrible. And it's such a hard thing. You don't want to lose this person. Okay, I get that. But, and being a nurse and seeing it up close, I think that'd be a little bit different, right? Like, so many people, we go through our daily lives, and of course you want to go through your daily lives not thinking about bad stuff. You want to have a positive day. You want to make sure, everyone's happy and healthy to an extent. But at the end of the day, when we get to this point where something like this happens, or we have to deal with something like this, we kind of have to, we have to let go. Like, we really just have to let go, because the suffering is so much worse, I feel like. And in an instance like this, you know what I mean? There's tons of situations where people have pulled out. There's been miracle situations. I get that. But, if they're going out, and this is truly the ending of life situation, and that's happening, their body is shutting down, I don't think you prolong it and let the misery just sit there. Again, that person can't even say anything. They're trapped there. Their consciousness is just living through what you want, whatever that family member wants. Again, that could be talked about beforehand. That's not always the case, and maybe they don't get that completely right. Maybe that's not been fully had their head wrapped around. They're like, I want to stay here as long as possible, but I'm not sure if that's the best thing. Okay, like. Again, what this man is describing right now sounds horrible.
They're shipped, whether by ambulance or by air, to our hospital. So probably once a week, once every 2 weeks, I see a patient who's had carbon monoxide poisoning.
Are things, it's been mentioned, I want you to assume in this case by Mr. Kenny, that carbon monoxide is considered a poison. Are there other things in medicine that are used that are considered poisonous?
Yo, Crime Spies, welcome in.
Every medicine we have, with the possible exception of vitamin C, is a poison.
Me too.
What do you mean?
Well, if you give someone an antibiotic, they can become toxic if you give them more than their system can handle. You give them Valium, their heart and lungs will stop, because if you give them more than their body can handle, because that's another effect of the medicine. There's no single effect of a medication that will cure. You give enough of a medication and it turns into a poison. Even oxygen, even water itself can be a poison. People can die, and do. I've had patients die from drinking too much water.
How can oxygen be a poison?
Well, it goes to the retina, it goes into the lung tissue, and effectively poisons the tissue.
Does that mean that a poison can't be used to cure suffering?
Well, since everything we use potentially is a poison, and we use them to
It's a lot of questioning. Very interesting.
alleviate suffering, then certainly poisons are used to alleviate suffering.
What material did you review in preparation for your testimony today?
A number of them, I actually brought some of them up here. Would you like me to list them?
Sure.
It starts with information about Thomas Hyde, a letter that he wrote to Dr. Kevorkian on June 22nd. Some letters that he had written regarding...
I'm going to object once again with regards to 403. I think this gets into cumulative evidence that gets beyond the purpose of this witness testifying.
Well, I'm not sure I know what the purpose is. So.
Every expert witness I've ever examined in 15 years has been required to disclose the basis of their opinion.
Well, I think the objection is whether or not the opinion is relevant based on the circumstance that we have here, but I'm going to not try to guess what that is. But in terms of the objection itself, Mr. Feiger, you have a response to that?
It provides the foundation for his opinions that he's going to render in this case. The basis of his opinions under Rule 703 can be inquired into, but if Mr. Kenny is waiving any objection to foundation, then I would gladly withdraw the objection.
Okay, and on the 403, is there anything that we, what is that he's testifying to that we have not been through already?
That the effect of the procedure utilized by that he has examined and is familiar with the procedure utilized by Dr. Kevorkian, and that it had the effect of alleviating Thomas Hyde's suffering.
I understand. If that's what we're going to do, then let's go on to that then.
Thank you very much. Did you I'm going to ask you generally. I don't think the prosecutor is going to object. Did you familiarize yourself with this case and the condition of Thomas Hyde sufficient, in your opinion, to render opinions regarding the occurrences that happened in this case?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Are you familiar with what occurred with regard to Thomas Hyde and Dr. Kevorkian's provision of a procedure in this case?
In terms of?
The administration of CO in the form of gas to Thomas Hyde by Dr. Kevorkian. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Doctor, in your opinion, what was the effect of that procedure in terms of the pain and suffering undergone by Thomas Hyde?
The effect of it?
Yes.
Was to stop his suffering.
How?
Very slowly, he lost consciousness. And when you lose consciousness, you stop suffering.
Are you familiar with patients who pass away with CO, carbon monoxide?
Very familiar.
How are you familiar with that?
Through the emergency room and the hyperbaric chamber protocol that we have.
Tell us about how patients pass away from CO, carbon monoxide.
I guess there are two parts to it. One is people who don't pass away, and the other is people who do. My experience mostly is with the people who don't pass away, because they come in and their story, and I've heard it many times, is they don't smell anything, they don't feel anything, they don't see anything, they don't taste anything. They just lose consciousness. And after they lose consciousness, somebody notifies 911, they come to the hospital.
Other than the effectuation of this procedure to end his suffering, is there any other medical procedure that you're aware of that could have, forget medical, is there any other procedure that you're aware of that could have alleviated his suffering?
The only procedures would lead to the same loss of consciousness. So, no.
Had he continued, are there procedures available that would continue his suffering?
Well, everything that we do, there's nothing that we have. I've done some research into it. There's no treatment we have that can allow him to live and stop his suffering. There's no recourse in the disease. There's no treatment that will make him get better.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Mr. Kenny?
Oh, excuse me, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
One last question. Doctor, I've had marked as defendant's proposed Exhibit I a copy of your curriculum vitae. Is this that you provided to me? Is this a true and accurate copy of that?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, I move for admission of defendant's proposed Exhibit I.
Fine, Mr. Kenny.
I'd like to see it first, if I could, please.
Okay.
No objection, Your Honor?
Thank you.
Thank you. That's I. Okay.
Thank you.
Doctor, in terms of your work in the emergency room, you indicate that you have had the occasion to deal with people who have ALS and are admitted to the emergency room for some specific procedures, correct?
That's correct.
In the time that you've worked in the emergency room, have you ever utilized carbon monoxide gas as a treatment for any of the ALS patients that come in?
No, I have not.
And is there a reason why, sir?
We don't have it available.
Are you telling us that if you had it available, you'd use it?
If I had it available, and it was a situation similar, where similar to the case with Thomas Hyde, then yes, I would use it.
And why is it not made available to you in the emergency room?
Because probably at the Toronto Hospital, it's not been brought before the Pharmaceutical Committee.
And why's that?
I think you're asking me a question that goes beyond my experience.
Have you ever thought of bringing it up before the Pharmaceutical Committee?
I don't bring things up in front of the Pharmaceutical Committee, so no, I haven't.
Happy New Year, Roseanne.
People come into the emergency room with ALS, and if they're having problems with breathing, do you prescribe any kind of medication for them?
It depends on the cause of their difficulty with breathing.
All right. What would be some of the different causes?
Well, essentially there are two. One of them is difficulty breathing because of muscle weakness, and the other would be because of infection, pneumonia.
Right. Let's say that there's an infection. Do you prescribe any medication at all if someone comes into the emergency room under those circumstances?
It's important to distinguish. Some people come into the emergency room with what we call a DNR. It's called a do not resuscitate, or a DWD, death with dignity, decision that they've made. And it falls into different categories. It's not just we will do nothing or we will do something. It's we will do something, but how much? Will we give them oxygen? Will we give them just a bed with a pillow to be comfortable? Will we give them painkillers? Will we give them antibiotics? Or will we go all out, intubate, put tubes in every orifice, create a few ourselves, and keep them in the intensive care unit? So in answer to your question, if a patient comes in and has designated him or herself as death with dignity, then it becomes a question whether to give them antibiotics or not. If they've not designated themselves as that, then yes, I'll give them antibiotics.
Okay. And the purpose of giving them the antibiotics is to try to give them some relief for the immediate infection?
That's right.
How many ALS patients have you treated, would you say?
10 or 12.
This video's about to end, but it's also completely all sidetracked. But I always say that we're not supposed to be here, right? Like, we kind of are the aliens. Like, everything on this planet is trying to eradicate us. It's trying to kill us, like, at all times. Like, we have to take such heavy precautions in our day-to-day lives that we really don't even think about just because it's just the norm now, right? I couldn't imagine living 100 years ago. I really, truly couldn't. Like, the life expectancy, and then you just go even past that, centuries past that. It's been a rough journey for humans and for mankind and for womankind. Like, we're not supposed to be here, guys. Like, the planet is like, get the fuck off of me. Like, we're fleas. Like,
Nothing further.
Tiger?
Nothing further.
Thank you, doctor. You may
Dr.
be excused. Okay. How long your next witness would be?
Real long.
Okay, well, let's go with that one then before we take a break then.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Frank.
Your Honor, this time I call Calvin Thurman to the stand.
Okay.
Calvin Thurman. Okay. Trigger warning on this one. Calvin Thurman is a hospice nurse, guys. I was preparing for this one myself. It's only 11 minutes, but, Calvin looks like a sweetheart. He looks like an awesome guy, and he is a hospice nurse, and he, takes care of people on their way out. So.
Mr. Thurman, would you please state your name for the court and jury, please?
Calvin Thurman
And where do you reside, sir?
at 33523 8 Mile Road, Livonia, Michigan.
And Mr. Thurman, where do you work?
Hospice of Southeast Michigan.
What is the Hospice of Southeast Michigan?
It deals with terminal ill patients, cancer, heart trouble, any terminal illness, Lou Gehrig disease.
Yeah, triggers on this
How long
one.
have you worked with that organization?
About 11 months.
Okay. What is your position with the Hospice of Southeast Michigan?
Well, I'm a student nurse. Well, I'm a student nurse, but I work as a home care aide.
What does a home care aide do, Mr. Thurman?
What they do, a nurse will come in, they assess the patient. Then what I do, I would go in and whatever they put down on the paper as assessment, I would do that.
Okay. Did you have occasion to work with Thomas Hyde through the Hospice of Southeast Michigan?
Yes.
How did it come about that Thomas Hyde came to the Hospice of Southeast Michigan or sought help from them?
Can you repeat that? I didn't hear you.
How did it come about that Thomas Hyde got help or started to be treated by the Hospice of Southeast Michigan and then you?
Well, I'm not sure exactly how he got treated, but the only thing I know, a nurse would come in. He must have called in, or his health care must have called in. And what they do, a nurse would come out and assess him. Then I would come out behind the nurse and follow up the care.
Okay. Is that what happened in this case?
Yes.
Okay. You provided me with some documents when I subpoenaed you, and I'd like you to take a look at these and tell me. May I approach the witness, Your Honor? Mr. Thurman, what are those documents that you provided to me that have been marked as defendant's proposed exhibit? Excuse me, let me just look at that for a second.
Dina gonna come through here passing out $2. Thanks for being amazing. No, Dina, thank you for being amazing. Thank you for coming through here. I've just really met Dina within the last little bit, and she's been in all the chat. She's been hanging out everywhere. So I've been seeing her, and she's awesome, man. Dina is one of the most positive people that's new to my area, anyways, and coming into Publicly Buzzed. And thank you so much. It's been really cool meeting you this year, is also, Dina. Thank you so much though for the $2. Let's give you a little love. A little biggie, huh? Yeah. Love it. Thank you, Dina. Seriously. You're awesome.
Jay, what are those things?
This is the patient face sheet.
Okay,
is that,
CH,
Mr.
you're looking
Thurman?
that up now.
What I do, it describe the disease. It tell you who the nurse is. It give you the location of the patient.
Wow. CH wanted me to look up. Hold on, I want to pop up his comment so I can get that up there. Look up the life expectancy for a. Oh shit, didn't pop up. Hold on. For a male in Glasgow, 1998, World Health Organization. The male expectancy at birth in Calton area of Glasgow between 1988 and 2002 was 54 years. 54 years. What the hell was going on there? Was there like some war shit going on in Glasgow? The Glasgow effect. What the hell's the Glasgow effect? A local doctor attributed this to alcohol and drug abuse and a violent gang culture. Okay, that makes sense. That tracks. According to Bruce White of Glasgow Centre for Population Health, writing in 2015, the estimate was based on deaths in between 98 and 2002 in an area of 2,500 people, and the figures may have been affected by the presence of hostels for adults with alcohol, drugs, and mental health problems. Excuse me. The 2008 to 2012 estimate for Carlton and nearby Bridgeton together, by then more ethically diverse and with fewer hostels, was 67 years. So it had went up dramatically, and then females went up a decade past that. Wow. 54 is so young. Holy crap. Wow.
And his doctor.
Is that provided to you prior to you going out to work
Right?
with the patient?
Yes, all face sheets are provided to me.
You know, being a hospice nurse, I couldn't even imagine, right? Like that would, and I'm sure there's terrible ones, right? But I mean, if you get a good hospice nurse, I'd imagine he looks like this dude, right? The kindness you can see in his eyes. Again, I don't care what anybody says. You can see something in someone's eyes immediately, okay? I've always said this, and maybe I'm a little bit crazy, but okay, if I don't get the right fucking vibe, dude, I'm out, okay? Like, and the eyes are so freaking important. Like, you can see something so deep.
Okay. What else is attached to those documents, Mr. Thurman?
This is a schedule of my visits, patient visits.
And does that include your patient visits to Thomas Hyde?
Yes.
What was your assignment in terms of
Yo,
Thomas Hyde, Mr.
say no to
Thurman?
globalism. Happy New Year. Thank you for coming through.
Well, I went to go see Thomas Hyde every day for 2 to 2.5 hours a day.
And what was your assignment in terms of caregiving for him through your position through the Hospice of Southeast Michigan?
First, when I go in, I look at his care plan sheet that was designed for the nurse, and I do everything in the care plan. And the first thing I would do in the morning, I would I would go in there and get him up and set him up. He was a pretty heavy guy, so I had to raise him up almost by hand. And I would put his arms on the walker once I get him up. Then I would raise his legs up and put his pants on, or shorts. He preferred to wear shorts. And once I get his shorts on,
Good to your Donnie.
and put both hands on his walker and raise him up. And then once I raise him up, we would walk. Well, he couldn't really walk, but we proceed to the bathroom. But sometimes we'll stop in the dining room where he can rest, because he had a hard time in going from his bedroom to the bathroom.
Were you able to observe what the disease was doing to him?
Yes, I was there a pretty long time.
What were your observations of what the disease was doing to him?
He was getting pretty weak, very weak.
Go ahead. What else would you help him do?
Well, once I get him in the bathroom, I would set him on a shower chair, raise his legs up on a shower chair. Sometimes I have to wait for a while because his legs would start shaking like this. It's like a muscle spasm, then his hands would shake like this. So what I'd do, I'd kind of raise his hands into him and hold his leg down. And then once I ask him, are you okay? He'll shake his head, nah. Or he'll make some type of grunt sound like, Then I would put both legs in the tub. Then I cut the water on and began to give him a shower.
Would you have to help him go to the bathroom?
Yes.
How did you help him do that?
Well, once we get out the shower, or sometime before we get in the shower, what I do, I would turn his walker around, facing the opposite of the commode, and I would guide him down on the commode so he can use the toilet.
Was he able to wipe himself?
No, I didn't. I raised him up, then I wipe.
How did was he able to wash himself, or did you have to do that?
No, I had to wash.
Did you observe him to be in any pain?
Yes, he was pretty, I would say more mentally. I don't think he could handle the disease to me. It just seemed like I was always asking him how you feel today. He was always, say he was mentally tired.
How would you describe his condition?
As far as
what the disease was doing to him?
It's kind of like a deterioration of his body, really. He had it mentally, but physically, he was just totally dependable on everybody else or whoever came in to care for him.
In terms of the continuation of his life, how would you describe his condition?
In terms of the...
Continuing his life.
I'm going to object. I don't understand the question.
Maybe you want to rephrase that?
Sure, I'd be glad to. Did he ever express to you anything about continuing to suffer?
No, I mean, one time we was in the shower on several occasions. I asked him, I always ask most of my patients the same question. I always ask, I said, what did you do when you was younger? And he began to cry, and I began to apologize because I figured this guy the same age I am, and I'm asking him what he did when he was younger. But it was a habit I always ask most of my patients that, and once I kept apologizing to him, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you cry. And he was...
Yo, Jinx, what's up? Welcome in here. Good morning. Trigger warning on all this stuff, Jinx, but welcome in here. Love to see it.
Like he's always telling me, he was just mentally tired.
Did he express to you a desire to continue to live that way?
I object at this point. I think with regards to 403, again, I think that this is testimony that's cumulative.
He's the only person.
I will rule the objection as to this witness here. Okay, proceed, please.
Did he express to you any, or you make any observations about him continuing to live the way he was?
Only thing I can say, he's always telling me he was mentally tired. That was his thing he's always saying. And the problem is, I think he couldn't handle him. To me, he couldn't handle having a kid, like a little girl. He had a little girl, and I think the problem was he couldn't.
Object at this point with regards to speculation, Your Honor.
All right, if
someone else is doing.
Mr. Feiger, you have any objection? Not objection, but response to the objection?
That's fine.
Okay, I was abstaining. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much. Was anything other than you just providing the care that you were giving? Was anything being done for him to alleviate his pain and suffering?
No, besides maybe family support, friend support, but no medication that I seen on the nursing sheet that was doing him good.
What was his condition then?
He was a terminal ill patient. All hospice patients are considered terminal ill.
Okay. What other things would you do for him besides bathe him, get him dressed in the morning, and help him with the toiletry?
Well, shave him, help him brush his teeth, give him a spoon and try to assist up to his mouth, but sometimes he'll shake so much like this. I just kind of guide his hand, and I try to let him be more independent as I possibly can. I could have just fed him myself, but I wanted him to be independent, so I try to put the spoon in his hand and help him up.
Did he appear to be mentally competent or aware of what was happening to him?
Yeah.
Foundation.
Well, just in his ordinary, I think he can testify in lay observation whether his patient is aware.
And I think we need a time framework as well.
Well, there are two things there.
Yes.
If it's based on his own observations,
Okay.
I'll let him do that, but you can fit it into what time we're talking about, too.
What time period did you care for Thomas Hyde, Mr. Thurman?
At least 2 to 2.5 hours every day of the week.
And what dates would that have been approximately?
Monday through Friday and sometimes Saturday.
In what months?
June, July, August. Late June.
Were you caring for him up through and including the time he passed away?
Yes.
Okay. What were your observations in terms of his awareness of what was going on to him in his body?
That was the hardest part for him, when I actually talked to him, because he was capable of understanding what was going on with his body. Maybe if he was maybe a little more delirious, maybe he probably would have been able to deal with it, but he was mentally capable. It was like sticking your arm out and have somebody saw it off. You know exactly what it felt like. No type of anesthesia.
If nothing was being done to alleviate his pain and suffering, what was being done at all to, in any way, help him?
Just the care hospice provided, and his family support and his friends.
Did you have any observations about maintaining him in that present condition that you expressed to him or his family?
I just did the best I could under the circumstances that he was able to deal with.
Was that doing him any good?
Well, I don't think anything could have done him any good as far as his disease is concerned.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Mr. Cannon.
No questions, Mr. Thurman.
Thank you, Mr. Thurman. You may stand down.
Yeah, what is it?
This would be a good time, I think, to take a morning break. let's look at starting back at about. I'm sorry.
There is
yes.
one thing. I did want to admit Exhibit J. Is there any objection? No.
Jay is in then, please. Okay.
Austin, good morning. Happy New Year.
Anyone among yourselves avoid any and all contact the person involved with the case. Let's look at having you back at 11:30. Okay.
All rise for the jury.
Going to keep rolling here, but Austin Raines, Happy New Year. Thank you for coming through here. Austin, a member here at the Publicly Buzzed family. Austin, what are you doing tonight? Are you going to be hanging out on Kick with the Twilight Zone Marathon? Hopefully so. Hopefully so. It's been an insane year, and Austin was a major part of that. The shirt I'm wearing right now, she did. She, again, part of the Publicly Buzzed family. I hope that she's having a good day. I hope that she comes and hangs out tonight. We're going to keep rocking and rolling. Who we got next? Internalist Dr. Stanley Levy takes a stand. I'm not exactly sure. What is an internalist? We're going to find out. I'm sure he will tell us immediately. That'll be probably one of the first questions. Everyone in here hanging out. Again, thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. Again, this is a tough one. This is a tough one. This is a lot. But we're having Bob was on here last week, and, we always kind of getting deep into the conversation. I see the chat is deep into the conversation as well. But the respectfulness of the conversation is so freaking awesome, and, just seeing everybody handle it. Honestly, probably better because we're together, I think, because, that is some scary stuff to think about, man. It's a lot, quite frankly, but it's also very important. Mimsy coming through here, becoming a member, a Buzz to Confuse level member. First of all, welcome to the party, pal. Yes, that's what I like to see. Oh, Halle Berry, just to kick it up, straight up. Right at the end of the year, coming through here. Mimsy, I like to see it. Thank you so much. You're going to enjoy it. You're about to get the 3rd episode. Patreon folks got it, I think, Thursday or Friday night. You're about to get the 3rd episode of The Curse of Bigfoot, the first ever production from Publicly Buzzed from January of 2021. Me and Dan, the first thing we ever did was watch a movie called The Curse of Bigfoot, and it's 4 different parts. The 3rd one, 3 parts are out on Patreon, 2 is out on YouTube for members only. The 3rd part is coming from members only now, and also something that I said on the Idaho 4 Thursday show. I'm about to be going in deep into the Idaho, of course, as this thing continues to potentially possibly go to trial in the summer, which it probably won't. But I am starting an Idaho 4 series, and all Patreon and members will get that episode as they come out a day early before the public. And you're going to want to be on top of that because, I'm doing a lot of work, and it's going to be, hopefully it's going to be good, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. But yeah, Mimsy, welcome in here. Love to see it. Awesome as hell.
I'm telling you like it is, baby.
Viv's heading out. My daughter is going back to Georgia. Well, I hope she has a safe trip. Happy New Year, and thank you for stopping in here, Viv. Love you so much. Thank you. Happy New Year. Yeah, absolutely, Jessica. That hospice nurse had a kind soul. You could tell. And we need folks just like that for people that end up in those positions. Joe, out of here too. Happy New Year, brother. Have a good one. Stay safe in New York. Love it. Out there with the ball dropping. Jay still hanging and banging. Jay and Shannon, again, hopefully you guys come tonight. I understand if you don't. It's New Year's Eve, going into New Year's. I know everybody's got their thing going, but I'm glad you're here, brother, also. Yeah, Jessica, everybody in here kind of talking about the will. It's never too early to make a will. Also, make sure all your bank accounts have a beneficiary listed. Make sure you have a plan for your pets. That is a very good point, honestly. And in my case, and Dan's case, our pets are our kids. Personally, honestly, I've got 2 kitties. I've got a doggo, and Dan's got 3 doggos. So, yeah. Love you, Austin. Seriously, thank you so much. You made this year freaking amazing. You really did. You and your special fucking shirts. This has been such a cool year, and you're a part of this family just like everybody else, man. I love it. I love you. Get them beers. That's right. She already know. Mim's getting her just poured up her own beer. Here's some more, baby. Hell yeah, Murder Church. Yeah, like to see it. I'm catching up here on the chat. Thank you all so much. Again, you guys rule. Unbelievable. I will say this right here. Use that link. If you portal into Amazon and do any of your shopping through that link, it helps us out here at Publicly Buzzed. Gets a little bit of a kickback. And some people have been coming through and doing that. And the folks that do it are unbelievable. Thank you so much. Seriously. Again, thanks, Steve. Jay introduced me to you earlier this year. So happy to be here. That's awesome. The connection with the J-Bo Nation. I am in the J-Bo Nation. You know what I'm saying? We are the J-Bo Nation. Like, the connection with Jay and Shannon is the most unbelievable thing that could have happened, I think, to me personally and Dan this year. We've said that many times. They've been so cool, so awesome. Catching up here. Yeah, that's right. We love the Twilight Zone and Publicly Buzzed. We'll be here. It's awesome, Shannon. I don't know. Me and Shannon have talked about the Twilight Zone on Twitter before. Oh, she's a big fan. After this show tonight, please go below in the comment section and, let me know what your favorite Twilight Zone episodes are. Okay? Let me know what you want to see tonight, possibly. See if we can find them. I need to figure exactly what I'm doing. I'm not sure if I need to find these streaming or if I have them. There's a possibility that I have them on a hard drive back here. I've got a lot of stuff. So I know I've got all the ones from the 80s, which are actually more rare to find than the ones from the old days, the 50s. We may play a couple of them also. There's some fun ones in there too. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. And then I'm also, as we start this up here in the chat, I'm going to pop in the Kick link. Again, it's very easy. If you're not on Kick, get on Kick. If you're on your phone, if you go to your app store, whether it's on iPhone or Android, just type in Kick, K-I-C-K. That's the one you want to look up, and then download it, and then go to the search and type in Publicly Buzzed. Publicly Buzzed. We should pop right up. Follow us, and you'll be ready to go tonight. I'm going to get the link in the chat right now.
Would you please state your name, doctor, for the court and jury?
Dr. Stanley H. Levy.
And Dr. Levy, what profession do you practice?
I'm an internist.
And where do you practice that profession?
My office is on 12 Mile Road in Berkeley.
And how long have you been, are you board certified?
I'm a board certified internist.
What is an internist?
What is an internist?
An internist is a physician specialist. One physician made the definition, he takes care of the diseases of the skin and its contents without doing surgery, delivering babies. That was a general definition a long time ago.
That was a very confusing definition of what an internist is, okay?
Now there are many subspecialties in areas within that.
How long have you been practicing as a board-certified internist, Dr. Levy?
I've been in private practice since February 1955.
And do you see patients in a regular practice?
I do.
And approximately how often do you see patients, what days of the week and hours in the day?
I see patients in the hospital and nursing home most every day of the week. I see patients in my office.
Got you. That actually, Jessica, me reading that and putting together what he said makes a lot more sense now. Like, he would, a roundabout way of, I'm just a regular doctor. He was like, oh, I don't deliver babies, and we don't do anything inside of your skin. What? I'm sorry?
A total of about 28 hours a week. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursdays. Occasionally on Wednesday.
What hospitals do you maintain staff privileges at?
I'm on the active staff at Sinai Hospital. I'm on the emeritus staff of Receiving Hospital.
And you also indicated that you treat patients in a nursing home. Do you maintain any other positions besides that as a private physician practicing internal medicine, maintaining staff privileges at a hospital?
I'm a medical director at the Windermere Nursing Home in Farmington.
All right. In the past, have you maintained any teaching or academic appointments?
I was rose to the rank of clinical associate professor of internal medicine at Wayne State Medical School.
For how long?
About 36 years.
All right. Have you been practicing your specialty continuously since your graduation from medical school?
No, I took training from graduation to medical school until I went into practice. I was also in the military.
Where did you do your undergraduate training?
I'm a graduate of Princeton University, and I went to medical school at the University of Pittsburgh.
All right. Where did you do your residency?
in multiple places, including Mount Zion Hospital in San Francisco, U.S. Navy, both in the, I was linked to the Army Nutrition Metabolism Laboratory, U.S. Naval Hospital, Great Lakes, Illinois, Detroit Receiving Hospital, Montefiore Hospital in Pittsburgh, and the Oak Ridge Institute of Nuclear Studies for the Atomic Energy Commission.
Doctor, have you reviewed what's been accepted into evidence as Defendant's Exhibit F and G, the medical records of Thomas Hyde of Henry Ford Hospital and Dr. Louis Renz?
Yes, I have.
In your practice, have you had occasion to treat patients suffering from the disease known as ALS?
On occasion.
Did you familiarize yourself with the procedure utilized by Dr. Kevorkian in this case?
Yes, I did.
What was the effect of the procedure in terms of the disease process and the pain and suffering suffered by Thomas Hyde? What was the effect of Dr. Kevorkian's utilization of the procedure?
I'm going to object at this point, Your Honor, once again under 403.
Your Honor, I've presented two doctors. Dr. Levy is the third doctor. This is certainly the relevant issue in the case. And for the prosecutor to claim that under 403, that somehow this goes to, I assume his objection under 403 is needless presentation of cumulative evidence, I couldn't think of anything less needless than testimony from a competent medical professional as to the heart of the issue.
Any other response, Mr. Kinney?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. I am concerned as to how much do we need on this. I've heard several people, testify to basically the same thing, and I think I do have the discretion to limit this at some point. I'll let you proceed with this one, but I'm going to examine very closely any further objections.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Your Honor. What was the effect upon Thomas Hyde of the procedure utilized by Dr. Kevorkian?
It controlled and ended the pain and suffering.
Do you have an opinion concerning the procedure itself utilized by Dr. Kevorkian?
I think that that the procedure was a heroic effort on Dr. Kevorkian's part to control the pain and suffering.
Completely, it's on topic and off topic. My grandma's are in a tattoo on my arm with her handwriting. I'm assuming that Austin's talking about her ashes. First time I ever heard about that being a thing was recently, 2019, I think, is when Charles Manson died. So when Charles Manson died and they cremated him, that story's absolutely fucking insane. His entire funeral is insane. I don't know if you guys know or not, but there's tons of, I'm just going to call them leeches, these people that were all around him at the end of his life and throughout his life, right? He would still have these like family members, maybe you'd call them, whatever. But all these people were at his funeral, and when he actually gets cremated, they just divvy out his fucking ashes to people. They just start like, oh, you get a little bit, you get a little bit, you get a little bit. People would like put them in art, and then one person put them into, where they're a tattoo, like they're a part of him. I think it's a Charles Manson tattoo even. It's the first time I ever heard about that. I thought that was crazy.
Which was otherwise not controllable.
What do you mean heroic?
I think that it was heroic in the sense that it was not standard. It was something that many others would not have.
I do love Carol Burnett. Carol Burnett, dude. The old Carol Burnett show, fucking Mama's Family, the best. Like, that lady's hilarious, dude. One of the dudes on the old show, though, from the 70s, that old skit with the dentist skit. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. The dentist skit. I forget the guy's name, and I can find it real quick, but he was also on Mama's Family, I believe. But there's this dentist sketch that is absolutely unbelievable. Like, those shows from the 70s used to kill me. Like, she's hilarious.
Thought of and carried out. I think that it represents new age hospice care.
Doctor, in terms of the pain and suffering undergone by Thomas Hyde, what types of treatment had been utilized and undertaken in terms of his.
Yeah, not only did he have a full-blown funeral, it was documented. There's a documentary on the funeral from that time period that I could probably find and we could watch, honestly. But there's a lot of weirdness around it too, because like there was this guy lurking that's basically saying that he should get like all of Manson's stuff because he's his son or he's kin to him, but refuses to do a blood test. There is an actual son that is proven to be his actual son that didn't get anything, I'm pretty sure. So much weird stuff.
Treatment by Dr. Renz and Henry Ford Hospital in your review of the records.
Multiple healthcare providers and physicians had seen him. A variety of medications were utilized to attempt to minimize the effects of the disease. This included muscle relaxants, particularly Lyriosol, Valium, and also other
Tim Conway. Yes, that's who I was trying to get the name of. Fuck. So funny. Like, probably my first laughs on planet Earth was those old shows that my grandparents would watch, and then I would just be dying. I'd be like, because I mean, a lot of those old shows don't hit, right? Like, I mean, there's a lot of good ones. All in the Family. I know they would touch on a lot more serious stuff, but it was a comedy show. Sanford and Son's pretty funny, but it didn't hit me, right? That show hit still for some reason.
That in addition to that,
me and Jay, tattooless brothers. My first tattoo would be Penny's ashes. She's immortal. She better be immortal. I think she might be immortal. I say that all the time. Every time I see you guys post a picture, it's in her eyes, okay? That dog knows stuff that nobody else knows, okay? That dog has the secrets to the future and AI and everything that's coming down the pike. Yeah, I have no tattoos either. I've never had a tattoo. And you know why I've never had a tattoo? I have nothing to get tattoos. My fiance has tons of tattoos. I love tattoos. I think they look fucking cool. I can't commit on a tattoo. I can't commit on a tattoo. And the next day I'd be like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? I cannot commit.
There was an attempt to minimize or treat quickly intercurrent infection. He was seen by a wide variety of specialists in otolaryngology, neurology, physical medicine, and he was seen by social workers, he was seen by clinical nurses, he was seen by physical therapists, he also had attempts made to use prostheses or physical bracing to care for his muscular debility.
Do you have an opinion regarding the extent to which Thomas Hyde sought
Thank you.
every
I hate my hair. You know why I have long hair that's tied up in a bun all the time? Because I hate my fucking hair. When I was a kid, in 2005, when I decided to stop getting haircuts essentially and just trimming up the dead ends and just said, fuck it, we're tying this thing up, it's because I hated all the haircuts I've ever had in my life, in my existence. The bowl cuts, the undercuts, the fucking short, all the cuts were lame. I never found one that fit my dumb round head, but this one's fine. You know, you just throw it back and it's gone. It doesn't matter. I'm with you there, Jay.
Possible treatment to cure or relieve suffering?
I thought he was a heroic figure in this situation.
How so?
I'm not afraid of the needles. We're fighting now, baby. No, it's not the pain's not the problem. It's me. It's figuring out what I want. What am I going to get? Terry Funk tattoo? Huh? I love Terry Funk. Stan Hansen? I love Stan Hansen. I don't know what I would get. It'd be so hard. The Toxic Avenger. I always said it'd probably be the Toxic Avenger. I'm looking at the Toxic Avenger right now in front of me. But
in addition to following through and making as much as he possibly could of the services, making and taking advantage of the services that were available to him, he tried. That in addition to that, he also presented himself for research-type drugs and drug therapy.
What was that, Dr. Levy?
The Ford Hospital and Multiple Sclerosis Society apparently had a pharmacist.
Dude, the tiny tat. Now, that would be kind of funny, right? Like, I'm talking like Bob Motta style shoulder tat, like itty bitty. That might work out, right? Because he would be looking from afar, like, if you're on a beach, you ain't got no shirt on, like, is that a mole? Does that guy have a little tiny mole? Don't stare at his mole. No, stare at it because it's a fucking tattoo of Terry Funk, motherfucker. Look at it. Look at it. You can't really make out anything. It looks like just a black dot, but it's Terry Funk.
Pharmaceutical grant in an attempt to, in terms of experimental therapy, which was a branch chain amino acid.
I might be pushing a little hard on the leg here. Calm down. I got to go all night long, too. Let's calm down. Let's just simmer down.
That they were going to attempt to give him. However, although he volunteered and was to participate in that as sort of a living guinea pig, they ultimately, for their purposes, rejected his offer. But the fact was that he was attempting, as a courageous, socially responsible person, to do as much for himself and also for his society. I think that that is sort of a nature of heroism involved in this case.
Other than the procedure utilized by Dr. Kevorkian, which clearly hastened his death, at the time he passed away, doctor, what was available in terms of the entire lexicon of medical treatment that would have alleviated his pain and suffering or had a beneficial effect?
Nothing was available, and he had attempted to get to the very cutting edge with the research proposition that he attempted, so that the answer is he tried everything he could possibly try, including the hospice care. I think that the dignity had been dissipated and was progressively getting worse. The heroism that he demonstrated, I think, was exemplary.
No further questions.
Thank you, Your Honor. Dr. Levy, how many ALS patients are you currently treating right now, sir?
I have none at the present time.
How many have you treated in the last 2 years?
I've had none primarily my responsibility. I've had one.
And when you say you've had one, is that someone that you saw as a patient initially and then referred on to a neurologist?
No, it was a transient supportive issue.
By the way, do you know Dr. Kevorkian personally?
Yes, I do.
And for how long a period of time have you known him?
I've known him personally since he was in jail in Oakland County.
Did you know him before that?
I did not know him before that.
Now, Dr. Levy, you've indicated to us that you also are involved in, or have been involved in teaching.
That's correct.
And can you give the jury some idea as to what percentage of your medical practice has been devoted to teaching and how much has been devoted to the...
Mosh! What's up, brother? Thank you for coming through here. Happy New Year, Mosh. Mosh might have the record for the longest membership in here. He was in here Thursday showing that badge off. Mosh, Happy New Year, brother. Thank you so much for all the support, man. Love you, dude.
Actual seeing of patients.
The teaching that I have done over the years was as a voluntary, superimposed vocation over and above the full-time practice of internal medicine.
Okay.
It came to 300 hours a year approximately over a 36-year period of time.
Okay, so that in terms of your affiliation with Wayne State University, you
yes.
were not a paid
Yes.
full-time.
That needs to happen soon, dude. And I never get any free time anymore, man. Like, all I do is just grind, baby. But no, we need to do that for sure. Get that happening.
Member of the Wayne State University medical school faculty. Is that correct?
I was a clinical associate professor. I was not paid. I was a voluntary teacher.
Okay.
I taught freshman students in physiology. I taught sophomore students in physical diagnosis. I made teaching rounds in November and December on a portion of the medical service at the old receiving hospital and the more new receiving hospital. I had the supervision activities of interns and residents there, and I was also in charge of the teaching service for July and August at Sinai Hospital.
Do you still continue that teaching service, sir?
At Sinai Hospital, I'm superannuated, I guess.
What does that mean?
I'm over 65 years of age.
Okay. Do you still teach
I
them,
do.
though? Okay. Now, can you tell us, please, in terms of the, during your experience as a physician, have you ever prescribed carbon monoxide gas as a treatment for anyone?
I have not.
Do you consider carbon monoxide gas a poison?
I consider all therapeutic modalities potentially poisonous.
Okay. My question for you is, do you consider carbon monoxide a poison?
Along with many other things, yes.
Okay. Now, when you made reference to the fact that Mr. Hyde had volunteered for an experimental treatment program at Henry Ford Hospital, that was a circumstance in which Mr. Hyde agreed, did he not, that he would participate in a program where he would take certain drugs or be administered certain procedures that weren't quite in the mainstream. Is that fair?
That's correct.
And would it be fair to say, Dr. Levy, that based on your examination of all the records, it was the hospital, the Henry Ford Hospital, that decided not to accept Mr. Hyde into the program?
That was the circumstance, as I understand it.
And would it be fair to say that the hospital didn't accept Mr. Hyde into the program because at the time he requested the opportunity to participate, he was already starting to have some breathing problems?
He was excluded for whatever their reasons were.
Did you check them out?
I checked them out that it was related to the respiratory difficulties he was having, whether that meant infection or not. At the same time...
well, excuse me.
Well,
Dr. Levy...
He should be allowed to finish his answer, Your Honor, if he hasn't...
But he has answered, Your Honor, and
Well,
I don't think we're entitled to a volunteer.
Well, you asked me if I checked it out.
Please, hold on a minute, please. Just hold on. Let me get this resolved, Doctor, okay? Your objection is that he didn't finish the answer. Mr. Kinney, your response to that is?
Your Honor, I believe he has given a responsive answer to the question. I think I'm entitled to move on.
Okay, I would suggest not cutting off. If there is more there or is not responsive, please, then the person examining make the objection and let me rule on it, please. Go ahead, please.
That the Henry Ford Hospital rejected him after they had initially offered him this, and he had accepted it, on the basis of his respiratory status. I understand that, and I wasn't attempting to avoid that issue.
Okay. Perhaps I'm confused, Doctor. Did you just say that the experimental program was initially offered to Mr. Hyde, or was it he was a potential candidate initially?
Apparently, they had this experimental program, and they were soliciting possible participants, and then they would evaluate as to whether they were going to accept these participants, whether somebody, I guess, was going to get placebo, whether somebody was going to get one thing or another. It was a relatively dramatic set of circumstances, apparently, because of the fulminant nature of his ALS.
Now, would it be your understanding that the people at Henry Ford Hospital rejected Mr. Hyde for this particular experimental program because they had a concern that the experimental drugs that they would be offering to someone like Mr. Hyde had too high of a risk of causing him death?
I was of the opinion that they were attempting to delineate and clearly define the circumstances of what they were doing in a highly ethical fashion.
Okay. And I guess my question for you is it your understanding that the reason they didn't want Mr. Hyde in the program was that his physical condition had deteriorated to the point that they thought that the drugs, the experimental drugs, posed too much of a risk of death?
At the time that I noted that they were evaluating his apparent respiratory difficulty, there was no evidence by chest x-ray that he had a pneumonia, which is what they had him in the hospital for. Apparently, they thought he had a pneumonia. The x-rays were negative, and the evidence of his pneumonia was not very great. And why they rejected him and the methodology and how it came about, I do not know.
I take it then that you did not bother to contact anyone at Henry Ford Hospital to find out the reason for his not being accepted?
I did not.
Okay. In terms of your experience as a physician and your practice, why is it that you have not prescribed carbon monoxide gas, sir, as a treatment?
I haven't thought of it. I have generally speaking, long-standing relationships with patients where I'm the primary guy, and I've never had anyone ask me or request of me to assist them in any way other than to alleviate pain and or suffering, and I've managed to be able to do that. The situation of the ALS patients that I've taken care of were generally not associated earlier on with a do not resuscitate or status. And we didn't have that in the milieu in those days, but in retrospect, had we had it, I think I would have withheld intubation, respirator care, and things of this nature.
Would you say, Dr. Levy, that administering or giving doses of carbon monoxide gas to an ALS patient would provide them with any temporary relief?
I think that the relief would be effective and permanent, not temporary.
Okay. And that it would be your expectation that the use of carbon monoxide gas to someone, say, who had ALS and was suffering from that, that someone would utilize that carbon monoxide gas with the expectation that the gas would be ingested with a result of death?
I think that the purpose in this situation was to alleviate the pain and suffering.
I understand that. Let me ask it to you perhaps a different way. There has been testimony before you that sometimes ALS patients who are suffering muscle cramps are given different types of medications, one of them being Valium. Are you familiar with that?
Mr. Hyde received Valium.
Would it be fair to say that the Valium that was prescribed or given to Mr. Hyde was given in the hope of providing him some temporary relief?
I think that the repeated dosages of the Valium were attempting, and the repeated doses of the Lioresal were an attempt to give him more than temporary relief in the sense of minutes or hours, but an attempt to provide him relief around the clock. Now, whether you consider that permanent or not, but there was no cure for this man.
Okay. The expectation, though, with regards to the taking of the Valium was that once one was prescribed the Valium for the muscle cramps, it was the expectation of the neurologist, was it not, that the Valium would have to be taken on a continual basis over time.
And so it was. And the Lioresal.
The expectation with regards to the carbon monoxide, as in this particular case, was that it would be taken once. Is that correct?
I think that that has been brought out.
You would agree with that, then? It was to be taken once?
It was to have been taken once.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you, Dr. Levy. You may stand down. You may be excused.
Your Honor, my next witness will take us far beyond the lunch hour.
Let's get started, please. Go ahead.
Your Honor, this time I call to the stand Cheryl Gale.
Okay, please be seated. You may. Why don't you just step down for a minute, ma'am, and just wait till we get this clarified, okay? At the sidebar, the prosecution raised an issue regarding the testimony of the prospective witness. Let's just put it on the record and then go from there. Mr. Kenny?
Well,
let me have him put it on the record what his concerns are and then have you respond to it. Okay. So we'll know exactly what we're talking about.
Your Honor, my objection is to the fact that the witness who the defense has called happens to be the widow of one of Dr. Kevorkian's other patients or victims. And in this particular case, I submit that what happened with regards to someone else's assisted suicide in Roseville, Michigan, at an earlier time is not relevant with regards to the issues that are before this particular fact finder.
Okay. Mr. Feiger, your response?
The issue before this particular fact finder, according to my defense of Dr. Kevorkian, is that it was the intent of Dr. Kevorkian, pursuant to MCL 752-1027-3, to relieve pain or discomfort and not to cause death, even if the procedure hastened death. Therefore, intent in this case is an absolute paramount issue. Pursuant to Michigan Rules of Evidence 404B, and I quote, evidence of acts, other acts, is not admissible to prove the character of a person in order to show he acted in conformity therewith. It may, however, be admissible for other purposes, such as, and I quote, motive, opportunity, intent, plan, or system in doing an act. In this case, evidence of other acts consistent with what identical, the use of carbon monoxide gas to alleviate pain and suffering in other patients, is admissible to prove intent if I can produce and prove that through the testimony of witnesses. Therefore, when I have evidence which shows, that tends to show that Dr. Kevorkian's intent in utilizing this procedure is to alleviate pain and suffering, the only way I can prove that his intent is through the testimony of other witnesses in which the same procedure has been utilized in their presence and with their family, and the purpose was to alleviate pain and suffering, which is the essential nature of my case. Now, I have...
Just 1 minute there. How can these other persons, prove or show by their testimony what they observed to be done? I mean, let's just say that they testified to, yeah, I saw this same procedure, being done. How does that, prove what the intent was in terms of whether it was to relieve pain and suffering?
Your Honor,
how do they
in exactly the same way the rule always allows intent to be shown. Normally, intent is showed by the prosecutor, and the prosecutor never asks a witness, what does he think a particular actor was thinking at the time, but intent is shown by the circumstantial evidence of the actor's conduct. In this case, every witness, and I propose to offer 3, let the record reflect Cheryl Gale, Sharon Welsh, and Doreen Ackner. In every one of those cases, the witnesses will testify that their loved ones, in each case their sister, their best friend, and their husband, did not seek to die, but the intent of their family and their family's loved ones was to end suffering, and that Dr. Kevorkian and the procedure that he offered was, and they sought him out to relieve the suffering. That tends to show intent. How else do you prove intent but through that? The problem I think that we're having in this case is that normally the prosecutor is given free hand to attempt to establish intent. Here in this case, the prosecutor appears to be a little bit confused that I'm seeking to establish intent through my witnesses rather than him, and he is seeking to preclude relevant evidence, that is, and I know this court knows the rules of evidence better than me, that which tends to prove a point which is in contention. And since 404B is exactly the rule of evidence which contemplates the proof of such intent by virtue of other acts, that's why the rule was written. If you couldn't prove intent through other acts, why would you have the rule that says that's how you prove intent through other acts?
Yeah, through other acts in a general sense, but I'm trying to have you respond to how does these witnesses' testimony that they observe your client do something that may be the exact same thing that was done in this case in the Hyde situation, how does the mere fact of them observing that, prove or show that the intent was to relieve pain and suffering as against anything else?
I understand. That wasn't the mere observing of it. They were, in each case, the evidence will show that all of these people were deeply involved in the counseling process, contacting Dr. Kevorkian on behalf of their loved ones, the decision-making process that their loved ones were going through in terms of ending their suffering, the medical care and treatment that was being offered to their loved ones in terms of any hope for recovery and any hope for curative treatments. These witnesses will cover the entire gamut of those things, which demonstrate beyond any question that the intent in this case was to relieve pain and suffering. That's what these witnesses all go.
Mr. Feiger, you're suggesting, that these witnesses are able to testify as to exactly what the doctor's intent was, and I fail to understand how them testifying to, even though they may testify to what their respective friend or relative or whoever, want it or what they may be, and I have some problem with them being able to articulate, that. How does that get into showing whether or not the acts by the doctor are consistent with that particular intent? How does it show that, in any relevant sense that would get beyond, say, either 401 or 403?
Because they'll testify that their loved ones didn't simply want to breathe carbon monoxide and die. They wanted to end their suffering. And intent is always inferred from the circumstances, always. If the proof by a prosecutor of intent to do an act is inferred from the circumstances surrounding the act in 100% of the cases. In every single one of the cases when the prosecutor's duty is to prove intent, he proves the circumstances surrounding the circumstances, the acts involved therein, and then says to the jury, you may infer intent from the circumstances. That is what he does in 100% of specific intent crimes. I'm doing the same thing. I agree with the prosecutor. I have an affirmative defense in this case. My affirmative defense is to show intent, just like the prosecutor does in every other specific intent crime. And I'm showing intent in this case through similar acts. If this was a criminal sexual conduct case, and the issue was the intent of the defendant to engage in that activity. The fact, and this court permits the prosecutor to present similar acts evidence. That is, other supposed victims who aren't necessarily on trial or are the supposed victims in that case, coming on to say that he did or she did the same thing to me. Now that tends to go to the proof of the crime, or else you'd never allow similar acts testimony in any case. This is classic similar acts testimony, and it goes to a affirmative burden that I have. I agree with the prosecutor. The prosecutor said he has to prove sub A and B, and I can affirmatively defend on sub 3. I think he's right here. I rarely agree with Mr. Kenny, but I happen to think he's right here. And since I have the duty of proving intent, one of the ways you prove intent is through similar acts. That's what I'm doing.
I'm trying to. What is there was a Michigan Supreme Court case.
Yes,
that
Your
came
Honor,
out recently.
Very recently, that was People versus
Vandervliet, Your Honor.
September 21st, 1993. It was decided, Your Honor.
Rubbing her temples.
It expanded the ability of the courts to permit similar acts testimony. And in fact, in Vandervliet, I'm positive the intent of the Supreme Court was to widen or broaden the ability of prosecutors, when their burden is to show intent, to present similar acts testimony. Of course, in this case, since the burden to that extent is on me, the case has also broadened my ability to show.
Okay, let me look at that case.
Thank you.
Okay.
I agree with the prosecutor that is the definitive case on the subject.
Chickadee,
I
what's
read
up?
that,
Welcome in.
A few months ago, but I don't remember exactly what it says right now. Any other comments you want to make, Mr. Kenny?
Your Honor, not right now. I'd like to look at Vandervliet also over the break. Can we do that?
Yeah, let's do that. Now, I'll give you both of you a chance to make any additional brief comments. After looking at that. So let's again have you back at 1:45, please.
1:45. I gotta go get some lunch. It's on deck next, just out of interest. It's a longer one. Cheryl Gailey, the widow of one of Kevorkian's patients, takes the stand. So I think I am going to actually end this a little bit early today to end out the last Murder Church of 2023, really because I need to do a little bit of preparing. Tonight, though, on Kick, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You guys are going to want to come, hang out. Twilight Zone Marathon. I'm excited. As soon as this stream ends, leave comments below about what your favorite Twilight Zone episode is. I'll see if I can get that on there tonight. You guys are absolutely unbelievable. Again, Happy New Year. But tonight, we are going to be bringing in the new year, the midnight hour. When it drops into 2024, you're going to be with us. You're going to be hanging and banging. So yes, in the meantime, I have to actually go out. I have to go and get some stuff. Ibuprofen being one of those. I'm going to be icing my knee, resting it up, chilling today for tonight. My plan for tonight, though, is if you guys were here for the Halloween marathon, this couch behind me, I'm going to try to set this up to be chilling back there, have the mic back that way, and hopefully have my leg propped up. So I can just be basically literally chilling and watching this stuff with you and not just because right now I'm in a chair. So yes, it's going to be good. It's going to be fun. Love you guys so much. Thank you again. If you're not coming tonight, guys, Happy New Year. Thank you guys so much. I will see you again probably Tuesday for a live. Just keep your eyes on all the socials, on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube for what's coming down the pike. You'll see it. Unbelievable year here at Publicly Buzzed. Unbelievable year tagged up with Jay and Shannon, Joe, Bob. We've got some cool stuff coming, guys. I love all of you so much. Yeah, wow is all I can actually say. I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing a lot of resting. Everybody in here tonight and this morning, thank you so much. But tonight, Kick, I'm going to drop it in there one more time, and we're going to get out of here. Please, download this in your app store. Download it on your computer. I mean, actually, no, you just have to go to that link on your computer. Literally, just go to kick.com with that link /PubliclyBuzzed on your computer. But on your phone, which is how most people watch it, let's just be honest, in the app store, look up Kick, K-I-C-K. Then on that app that you download, look up Publicly Buzzed and follow us. Tonight, you're going to enjoy some classic Twilight Zone. Love you guys so much. Jay, you're the fucking man. Brother from another mother. My papa. Mom in here hanging out. Love you guys so much. Thank you so much. I'm terrible at ending these. I just want to keep rocking and rolling down the road with you. But we'll be back. This isn't over. Even less than 12 hours. What is it? Yeah, 10 hours from now. Less than that even. Right? Basically a work day. And we're going to be chilling back here again. All right. Love you guys. Let's get out of here. Murch Church.
See, we shoot them up bang bang over here. We not scared of they motherfucking ass.